Cool. We're live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the definitive rankings of everything, episode 16. Today we're gonna do top 10 stoners with Frank, would you call yourself a stoner?
Yeah, I would say I'm a stoner.
Frank, do you think you can make this list possibly?
No, I don't think I can make the list. I was like, I definitely can. Now that I've looked at everyone that I've compiled, I was like, nah, I can't.
Yeah, it's a tough
I
crew.
mean, I say we just go ahead and put Frank in honorable mentions just to start it off.
I do like that
Before he even
move.
gets number one.
Putting the guest on there.
I liked it. I liked it.
We're here. Hassan's gonna have to bow out at eventually and then come back, but we'll deal with that.
It's Hollywood, baby.
That's Hollywood. So welcome. I mean, Frank, we usually ask the guests why they pick this. I don't really know if we need to this week.
I don't know why.
Take a look at his Instagram if you're unsure.
I wish the audience could see our little pregame meeting where Frank was just ripping bongs and shit and doing dabs. I think we're ready to go.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm curious as to who you have as number one, Frank.
So we start as the number. We start off with number one, like who the best is.
Yeah, who do you?
Basically, you throw out your number one, and then we argue about it. We'll probably throw out one or two, and then the list kind of just goes from there. We figure it out.
Well, you know what? I have to say Snoop Dogg is number one.
All right.
Also, my number one.
All right. Wow.
That is also my number one.
Wow.
On the board.
Because, like, my other list has like we'll go through it, but everyone's got like legislation and like key moments in history, all this shit. But Snoop Dogg, purely because he's the only guy that I've ever seen that could smoke weed wherever he is, and that I think is like what makes you like the ultimate stoner. Is like I smoked weed at the White House. He's gone to places where they were like, no, you can't smoke weed here. He's like, oh, okay, and then he'll just start smoking weed, and no one does anything. And I think that is like true power. Is like when stop other people from stopping you to like no, don't from stop smoking weed. Like he could do whatever he wants. Like that's fucking dope.
Yeah, when you have the power to have laws not apply to you, I think that's kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like everyone on the list is pretty recognizable, but like Snoop is the only one. I think he's the most recognizable, and when he shows up, you know what he's about. Like, there's no questions of is that a cigar or something else. It's like, no, that's a fat fucking blunt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also think like for younger kids, I feel like they know Snoop more as a stoner than a rapper.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's a good
That's
point.
the other crazy. Yeah, it's if you look at Snoop Dogg's whole career, you know, my parents loved his music, right? When they were coming up, and that was and so the parents of my parents hated Snoop Dogg because they, because that's when all the fucking music was. But now my grandparents love Snoop Dogg because they watched him on like Monk or fucking like all the sitcoms he's done or just the fucking stuff he does with Martha Stewart. He's elevated himself to such a different place that he's universally loved by the people who used to hate him.
He's America's uncle.
Yes, it was wild to see. That charged with attempted murder.
That's very American uncle thing to be, though. That is very like
Yeah.
There was the case. Yeah.
Beat the case, made a hit about it.
Yeah, I had Snoop Dogg at number 3.
Who was your number one?
Unanimous number one. I thought you did too.
No, my number 1 I had Cheech and Chong.
I have Cheech and Chong at 3.
I have them at 2.
I have Cheech and Chong. I have Tommy Chong, specifically Tommy Chong. I have Tommy Chong at 6.
Wow.
Okay, now if you add Cheech Moran to him, where do you have him?
If it's Cheech and Chong,
I guess 3, but I'll tell you specifically why Tommy Chong is more influential than I think than Cheech, and that's because Tommy Chong got in trouble for selling bongs online, and he went to jail for like 6 months. But because of that, they changed the laws because they were like, you're selling drugs and stuff. He's like, no, this isn't drug paraphernalia. These are just bongs. Like, you know what I mean? They could smell tobacco or whatever. So because of that, now we are able to buy like Puffco online or like bongs online. Like he's the whole reason were even able to buy like stuff like that. Yeah, he took one for the team for a lot of us.
Yeah, that's legacy shit.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I mean that's why I have. I mean the duo. I have both of them at 2. But it's hard to like. Snoop Dogg is just so unanimous, like so just thought of with weed. Like it's just they go hand in hand.
Yeah, but so are Cheech and Chong. I mean, how many weed movies did Snoop Dogg make?
But Snoop is bigger than Cheech and Chong for sure, though.
He's bigger, but not for being a pothead. He's like they're the biggest potheads, I think.
All right, when you think of Snoop, do you think of rapper or stoner first? Because I think
Rapper.
stoner.
No way you do. No way.
I swear to God.
If someone said who is Snoop Dogg, you'd say he's a stoner, or you'd say he's a rapper.
Okay, so I think he's Snoop. And like it's beyond music or like a concentration in art, you know what I mean? Like so that's why stoner is the first thing that kind of.
But Cheech and Chong, Cheech and Chong got famous.
It's getting high.
Cheech and Chong got famous because they were potheads. Snoop Dogg got famous because he was a rapper that also smoked weed.
I mean, in my mind, I think Snoop is a stoner. Dude, I knew Snoop way before I heard any of his songs.
From what?
Just being around.
Being Snoop.
Being Snoop is Snoop.
Yeah.
I didn't hear Snoop Dogg like Gin and Juice. I didn't hear till like end of middle school, early high school.
There's a valiant attempt, but it's 3-1, buddy.
I know, but we can discuss it. It's the #1 spot. True. You can't just get off that easy.
True.
To me, it's like Snoop Dogg got famous first for being a rapper. Cheech and Chong are famous for what? For being if you said describe Cheech and Chong, I'd say they're the most famous potheads. They're the most famous stoners. Their whole identity is pot, whereas Snoop Dogg is a rapper and a pothead.
That's the thing.
Like Cheech and Chong were also like comedians that were like heavy into the pot was their lane, because they also did like albums and such and like. Cheech and Chong, like he sang about being Mexican and all this stuff. So it was much more than just like the weed stuff for them. Like,
but that shit didn't get them famous.
Huh?
That shit didn't get them famous. They got famous because of the pothead shit. Because they were like the idols of weed culture.
Yeah, it was with the stand-up and stuff. But for sure, the movies is what definitely like set them apart. Is what got them famous. But even then, in the movies, it was like they were stoners dealing with like a bunch of other shit.
Yeah, but the movies were about how they were stoners.
Up and smoke. Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine with putting Snoop Dogg 1, but I think that Cheech and Chong is like, I don't know, bro. I don't see how they're not #1.
I'll go Cheech and Chong 2.
I mean, Cheech and Chong are my 2.
When Frank said stoners, when we decided to do this list, I was like, oh, Cheech and Chong #1, easy.
Really? I felt the same way about Snoop Dogg. I was like, oh, Snoop Dogg, #1, easy.
Snoop Dogg was, a given.
I just think he has so much else going on.
When you guys said stoners...
Yeah, but he is constantly being stoned while all that's going on.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's making the smoking part of it.
What is the stoner? You know what I mean? Because it's like, are you thinking of people that smoke weed and do stuff? Or are you thinking about people that are stoners, like constantly stoned all the time, but also pushing the culture? Like, the other big thing about Cheech and Chong is they're also huge weed activists. Like they were always trying to push legislation and stuff. So yeah,
is Snoop doing that, or does Snoop just want to smoke Snoop and doesn't really care about weed as a fucking part of culture?
Here's the difference: the culture needs like weed activists, but the culture also just needs like mainstream stoners. And Snoop has been the biggest, most mainstream stoner. For the time.
Yeah, that is. Damn, this is such a tough podcast. Fuck. Because there is an argument to be made that Snoop Dogg is definitely like making it a lot more. He was one of the driving forces of to make it.
I mean, he's out here. He's out here smoking with Martha Stewart. That brings weed into a whole different level of culture, where suburban white moms are like, oh, we can smoke weed. Like that's a next level thing.
This list too, and that shit, like he did a lot too.
Who?
You said Willie Nelson?
You're cutting it out, Frank. Yeah.
I think your headset got high.
Oh.
Fuck, bro. I mean, it seems like Snoop Dogg's gonna go #1, yeah?
I mean, it's 3 versus 1 here.
Yeah.
I don't see Snoop Dogg being moved from the number 1 spot either, for what it's worth.
I mean, we'll see. Maybe maybe I'll think of a good argument. I'm not gonna say anything for about half an hour while I try to think of something smart to say. I also want Cheech and Chong because one of them was in Lion King. I don't remember. I think it was Tommy Chong was in Lion King.
Well, I have him number 2.
I mean, I have him number 3, but I'm totally okay with the number 2.
Who's your number 2?
Willie Nelson.
Yeah, I had Willie Nelson too.
3. Willie Nelson by 3.
I think Frank kind of talked me into Cheech and Chong being number 2. But, I mean, Willie Nelson, I don't know, I'd lock him in there in the top 3.
Yeah, I think he has to be top 3 for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think these 3 are the top 3. I don't think there's any doubt in anyone's mind. We just put him there without talking about him? You want to talk about him a little bit?
Who, Willie?
Yeah.
Well, Frank, do you have anything you want to add?
Oh,
okay.
We got no audio. Change your audio input.
You know he's got good Willie Nelson facts too.
Yeah, I had Willie too, but I don't know. For some reason, Snoop Dogg just doesn't. He was number 3 in my head. I saw him as a rapper, I think, but.
I know what you're saying, but I don't know, man. Snoop's kind of that guy when it comes to weed.
Like to me, Willie Nelson, I don't care about his music. I think him being a pothead comes first. Cheech and Chong, I think their being a pothead comes before their art or whatever you want to call it. Snoop Dogg, I think, is a better rapper than pothead.
I think.
I mean, I think if you were to say this in like 1996, for sure.
Yeah.
I think now though he's definitely become more pothead than rapper.
Yeah. For sure.
I feel like Willie Nelson fans, like, they fuck with his music, and you're gonna find like a weird intersection of people that really like Willie Nelson but are like don't fuck with pot at all.
Maybe. I don't know. That's like such a huge part of his persona. I don't know if that's like a.
Yeah, but he's making country western music.
Yeah. For
you know what I mean?
For potheads.
Yeah, it is for potheads.
It's weird.
All right.
Apologies.
Hey, we got you back.
Frank, how do you feel
perfect.
about Willie
Sorry.
Nelson versus Cheech and Chong?
All right, so yeah, that's what I was saying. Willie Nelson. I mean, he was like one of the, like an influential like country white guy that like smoked weed. You know, like he smoked weed with the Beatles. I think he's definitely number 3. I think it goes Snoop, Cheech, Willie.
I would agree with that.
Yeah,
that's what we have right now. I think that's gonna stick.
I think that's
But then Frank, you said you had Cheech and Chong lower. Who was your number 3 then?
The Nizari Muslims.
Okay.
Ooh, wow. This is like a deep cut.
All right, let's get educational.
First people that created hashish. So
Sheesh.
Like yeah. So like hash, like when you like beat marijuana plants, it would create like the little crushed like the THC filaments. So yeah, that's what like a lot of like Indian people, a lot of Muslims smoke too, because it was like there. Also, like an honorable mention is Japanese people, because those are the first people that they said cultivated marijuana plants. That's where they said marijuana originally came from.
Japanese people at number 4 is hilarious.
Right? But it's all hemp based stuff, right?
Yeah.
So this is before they like really figured out how to like grow weed and shit. But I got another person when it like growing weed. But yeah, so for me it's the Nizari Muslims, because they created like hash and then like way to make hash and the processing method. So like there's people now who'll go to like India or go to these places to learn how these people make hash and the techniques, and they'll come to America and do it here.
Huh. Well, I mean, that is the nerdy answer. I would say though, if you were to ask Americans who their top 10 stoners are, I would say you're the only one that would say the Nizari Muslims.
Dude, I had Shaggy and Scoob.
As a Muslim, I've never heard of them Nizari Muslims. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Bro, Nizari Muslims aren't even in the top 10 Muslims. Like,
That shit was wild, bro. Yeah, I've also never heard of Nizari Muslims. No offense. Did you graduate from like a weed college?
Yeah.
So like this is just random shit that I know about weed, and then I just Googled and like did like a study last night. Not like a study, but I was just like, all right, I just went and was like, who is like, who's stuff? You know what I mean? And I feel like those guys are pretty big stoners if they figured out how to fucking make hash.
That's the most stoner thing too, to refer to getting high and going on Wikipedia as a study.
Yeah.
I will say, that, Frank, the point of this podcast is to argue, not educate. I just wanna put that out there.
Yeah, we're not trying to get smart, bro.
Yeah, if people,
some people.
yeah, if people leave this learning something, we failed at our job.
All right. So Nizari Muslims at 4 then, huh?
I mean,
I don't even know how to spell Nizari, but I'm not gonna put him on this list.
no, I had Bob Marley.
I had Bob Marley 4.
Bob
Oh,
at 6.
Shit, I totally forgot about Bob Marley.
Oh, dog!
I remembered Nizari Muslims over Bob Marley.
That's the stonerest thing I've ever heard.
This is so funny.
Okay, so I guess the argument here then is Bob Marley versus Nizari Muslims. How do you guys feel?
Yeah, sorry, Bob.
Bob Marley.
But I kind of feel bad for Bob because he feels like such a top 3 guy, but he
So I
just
feel like his shit, like it's kind of the same with Snoop, but it works against him because he transcended just being a musician into like kind of a cultural icon that just goes beyond him being a pothead. That's just part of the guy he was. So I think of Bob Marley, I think of like peace. You know what I mean?
yeah. I wouldn't know Bob Marley was a pothead if it wasn't for like college kids and posters, you know?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He made pothead music.
Yeah, but isn't all
Music
music
for
pothead
pothead.
music?
I mean, I don't know.
Pothead music.
Reggae?
Well, I think what stops
Pothead
Marley from
music?
moving up in the list is just that he died young.
Uh.
The everyone else has been stoners for a long time. Marley died young, right? So it's like that's what stops. And then also, I don't know. In my mind, I marked him down for being Jamaican, where it's like, it's just so much easier to get over there. That's what it feels like. So I definitely marked him down.
You're not risking anything for us, so it's not heroic. All right, I'll throw Bob Marley at 4.
I mean, I do want to talk about Shaggy and Scooby.
I have them at 5. I have Shaggy.
All right.
I didn't put Scooby. I don't think Scooby smokes.
He did in Jay and Silent Bob.
Scooby,
Strike Back.
listen, Scooby definitely smokes weed. Shaggy is absolutely blowing that smoke. into
Yeah,
Scooby's
yeah,
face.
that's a given. You're right. That's fair.
They're both eating those fucking sandwiches, dog.
I think they just deserve so much respect because they're your first stoners.
Yeah. Also, I mean, it's what's it called? It's also like, when you have a bowl and then you accidentally smoke some of it through. It's called Scooby snacks. Like
Yeah.
it's like it's like so ingrained in culture.
Yeah, it is also like the first stoner that you become friends with as a kid is
Mhm.
Shaggy.
You're
and
like, I don't
Scooby-Doo.
even really know what these guys are about, but I like their vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
You
would
know
hang out
what?
with those guys.
Like, I didn't think Scooby and Shaggy were stoners. I didn't mostly connected with Patrick. I always thought Patrick Star was the stoner.
Oh, really? I thought that Patrick
Yeah.
Star was just the supreme idiot. I never.
I just
Yeah.
think autism.
I just thought he was dumb.
Yeah, he didn't have a stoner vibe. Like
All the time.
Scooby and Shaggy, like they had munchies. Like,
Yeah.
that's what made him so clearly stoner.
And
I think I was
Shaggy just
so
looks like a
young that
stoner.
I didn't like connect the dots. It wasn't until that when I was like in middle school, middle school, and I was still watching SpongeBob that I was like, oh, they're smoking fucking seaweed.
To me, it's like if you were to draw a picture of a stoner, it'd probably look like Shaggy.
Yeah. I mean, I like him at 5. I didn't have him on my list because I just didn't think of fictional characters. But I mean, they're so iconically stoner. My 5 was Obama.
I had Obama at 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's the first president we had that was openly a stoner, and when he was younger, and then that sort of like was a big like, oh, okay, we could definitely make this legal now.
He got them black ass lips.
Was he a stoner, or did he smoke weed when he was younger?
No, he was a stoner, bro. He had like his whole crew. They had like a name too, like for like his weed crew in high school. That motherfucker was a stoner.
Name. He was a stoner.
If we're gonna go ahead.
He said if there was social media back in the days where he was in college and high school, he could have never been president because it would just all been pictures of him smoking weed. He was definitely a stoner.
But does he lose points for quitting being a stoner?
No, I don't think he quit. They were called the Chewing Gang 9.
You don't think when he was in Congress or whatever, he was smoking weed the whole time?
I definitely think he quit.
He stopped.
Quit? I don't know, bro.
I don't think that's a real stoner.
That motherfucker was looking way too relaxed when he became president.
I mean, not if you look at the pictures when he started, when he ended.
We would totally know.
No, it got bad, but when he might have quit while he was president.
No, dude. If at any point he was smoking weed while on the campaign trail, even to be senator of Illinois, he would have absolutely lost. He definitely quit by the time he was running for office.
For sure, he might have started again 100%. Once he was president, but the whole time he was in office, like before presidency, I doubt he smoked.
I don't know, man.
Because you get caught and you're done, bro. He wanted to be president.
Yeah, I know, but if you're by yourself,
that's you understand how risky that is, though. You're gonna quit.
Snoop Dogg, though.
What'd you say?
So he said he snuck off into a bathroom and just lit up.
Yeah, he probably had like those fucking weed pens in like 1999.
Nah.
He had a blunt. He said
it's too risky.
He lit a piece of paper just to see if anyone would say anything, and he was in like because once toilet paper burned and nothing happened, he was like, "Oh, sweet," and he just lit up.
Who did that?
That was Snoop Dogg in the White House, right?
Oh.
That's dope. Also, chat said that Willie Nelson smoked a joint on the roof of the White House.
Pretty badass.
Apparently.
I respect that.
Which is sick.
George Washington was a big stoner. That's who I have for presidentials. I mean, a lot of them smoke weed, but George Washington was like a stoner. He was one of the. They have journal entries in his diary where he talked about growing hemp and specifically separating the males and the females, and trying because he found out that certain ones had higher potencies and some of them made him feel like different. So he was like looking and trying what we now call like breeding and all that jazz, and like so it's just funny to see like a president like be a stoner.
Yeah, he had his slaves doing the work, so Obama Washington.
I also read that Abraham Lincoln was a big stoner.
You think Washington got his slave stoned?
I mean, in more ways than one. Definitely. Yeah. Speaking of Muslims, definitely more than one.
Damn, I had a joke that I was going to do later where I said citizens of the short story The Lottery. But then Frank out-nerded me, so I didn't want to say it.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. If you were to, as far as presidential stoners go, like I'm fine with not having Obama 5, absolutely. But as far as if you were to ask again, the everyday person, what president smoked weed? Most people would say Obama.
Obama, yeah.
He was the first president that was, I think, famously like, "Yo, I smoked weed regularly. Like I was a stoner."
And even if you ask most people, and before he told us that he smoked weed, they'd be like, "Yes, that black dude from Hawaii was for sure getting high."
Yeah.
So George Washington loses points for owning slaves?
Yes.
Yes.
To some he gains points.
Uh,
Not any of us, obviously, but Maybe to somebody
just
else.
being fair for everyone out there.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But I'm fine with Shaggy Scooby as 5.
Yeah, I kind of want Shaggy as 5. As like the most iconic fictional stoner.
Yes, there's no one more iconic than him as far as fictional stoners go.
Which
he's the only fictional stoners that kids watch.
Yeah, and he gets away with it because he's so likable.
Yes,
bro, he's your first introduction to stoners.
Yeah. All right, so we want to put Shaggy and Scooby.
Yeah.
Scooby Doo, baby. Good for him. It's nice to see him make a list finally.
I tried to get him on there for deities, but
for deities.
I just googled top 10 best stoner cartoon characters, and I swear to God, the first 4 are Shaggy from Scooby Doo, Scooby from Scooby Doo, Patrick Star from SpongeBob SquarePants, and Crush from Finding Nemo.
Crush.
Oh yeah, Crush ribs.
Yeah, Crush was like, yeah, that was the first. Yeah, they really like put him in front of a lot of kids' movies.
Frank, do they have Towley on the list?
Towley? Oh yeah.
I have him on mine.
I had him at 12.
I had him at 8.
Towley's a fucking stoner, dog.
Someone said Garfield.
Nah, because we can't do
Garfield just complained about shit.
We can't do speculation stoners.
Yeah.
They got to be real ass stoners.
Towley's catchphrase is "Want to get high?"
Yeah.
Like,
Towley is the pothead because he doesn't do anything but smoke, right? His eyes are all bloodshot.
Yeah, and hardcore drug. I mean, he sucked. Dick
Towley
for,
likes to party.
I mean, I don't even watch South Park, and I know all about Towley.
Yeah, he would come in, offer absolutely no help. They'd all be excited he got there, and then he would just get high, still offer no help.
He's at the shortstop on a Saturday night, fucking blowing people for beers.
I have him on my list, but I have him a little lower. I had at number 6. I had Seth Rogen.
I had Rogan at 8.
All right.
I had Rogan at 9. Seth
all right.
Rogan at 9.
I mean, for 5, I had Woody Harrelson.
You know what? Matthew McConaughey.
Are they stoners?
Yeah. No, I think Woody more so than Matthew.
Woody's more open.
Woody, he had like a hemp company in like the 90s. He was on the forefront of that. I just know that he smokes weed on set constantly. So many people have talked about that. And he's just, I don't know, he's chill as fuck, man.
Who would you rather hang out with?
The stoner that gets shit done vibe is Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
I mean, but to me, like, to be an iconic stoner, like, weed has to be such a big part of your personality. I don't feel like it's that way with Woody Harrelson. He's not making weed movies. He's not doing weed stuff. Like, he's an actor.
You look at him and you're like, this guy's a fucking stoner.
He's an actor who smokes a lot, maybe, but
he smokes a lot. He had a hemp company.
I don't know. You think he's more iconic in terms of being a stoner than Seth Rogen, who got famous for making stoner movies?
I'll go with Seth Rogen. I mean, I'm down to listen to Seth Rogen. But I just had Woody at 5.
And the thing, I'll be the one to split hairs because with Seth Rogen, this is where I think he loses points. He loses points with Houseplant because he did that weed launch and it was bad. He's trying to sell like those like handmade clay
rolling trays
for $150, $200, right? So like I feel like Woody Harrelson would be like, hey, I have a hemp company, grassroots, it's cheap, you know what I mean? Whereas like Seth Rogen, like, once I looked at that weed, I was like, this guy does not know as much as he should about weed.
All right, I'm seeing here Wilson doesn't smoke marijuana anymore, but in a new interview, he revealed that he once smoked weed during dinner with Donald Trump. But he's out the game.
Yeah, bro, you're not an iconic stoner if you don't even smoke.
He's out the game, dog. Yeah, I can. Yeah.
All right.
I just think to make this list, you have to be like, I mean, all of these people on here, if you were to ask me, like, if you were to say their name and I would give 3 words to describe them, stoner would be one of them. You asked me about Woody Harrelson. I don't know if I say that.
I think that'd be number 2 for me.
Yeah.
I would say actor, stoner.
I'd say actor, bald, white. I didn't even know he was a stoner. So I don't know.
Fair.
Oh shit.
Seth Rogen, is a stoner. Everyone knows Seth Rogen's a stoner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His movies are about
guy.
getting stoned. Every single movie he's made, all they do is just smoke weed.
Apple Express.
That's a fucking stoner. Who cares about his businesses? Yeah, he's a bad stoner. he's still a stoner.
I don't know. It's just weird to me. It's like, how do you not be good at selling weed?
If you're good at smoking it, you don't got to be good at selling it. He doesn't need money. Why? I mean, he's not thinking of creative ways to sell shit. Like he doesn't have to use his mind to think of ways to make money on weed. He just wanted to do it.
Just so everyone is aware, Willie Nelson got Woody Harrelson to start smoking weed again in 2019. So crisis averted.
Well, I mean, he still left the game.
I know that's fair. That's fair.
Is there anyone we could put above Seth Rogen? Frank?
This is gonna be another person you guys. Bob Snodgrass.
Okay.
So I could come in. Real quick.
He's the guy that he toured with the Grateful Dead, and he's the guy that basically like working out. All the techniques they use in glass blowing today, like the color changing glass, the opals, all that stuff, like the way they do it is all because of him and stuff that he learned while touring with the Grateful Dead.
All right.
If you're an average person, but you're like, who the fuck is that?
Wait, what is on?
I muted him because he was on his call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
what do you want to say?
huh? Is Ehsan talking?
Ooh. Yeah, he just said Ricky Williams.
Oh, I have Ricky Williams on
Why
mine.
Ricky Williams?
I have Ricky Williams on mine too.
Okay, I gotta leave now, but basically because he made it cool for NFL players to smoke weed. Like let's bring this to the forefront of these players should be allowed to smoke weed.
All right.
And he was the first one. All right, I'll see you guys in a bit.
Okay. Frank, tell me more about Bob Snuffleupagus.
Oh, we don't got to learn more about him.
Oh shit.
No, I was liking the facts. Snuffleupagus, dude. He blew glass with the Grateful Dead.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he just toured with the Grateful Dead. And then the other person I had was Matt Bubba Burger. He was the guy who created OG Kush. You guys asked me.
As soon as you said Bubba, I knew who you were talking about. Yeah, that guy definitely created fucking some sort of Kush. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was the guy. Yeah, he was like one of like the 6 people that created like OG Kush, and that shit like one of the biggest like strains in the West Coast. Like that's what everyone
Changed the game.
Yeah, but that's like doing a list of like the top 10 best basketball players and putting James Naismith on it.
Yeah.
It's like top 10 best basketball players and putting like, I mean, it's like a coach. If you were like Phil Jackson or something, or like Pat Riley. You know what I mean?
Be a big stoner to create such an influential strain. All right, listen, I kind of got a little too into it. You guys were like, you want people that like fun, people smoke weed. I'm like, is this dude who on October 8th fucking found a seed?
Yeah, you're just too nerdy.
Frank, my friend literally just texted me and said this dude's suggestions are great, so keep going.
Hold on, I'm gonna reset because I froze.
Cheese is loving it.
All right, so let's try to figure out a number 6 then here. We have Ricky Williams. I mean, we talked about Towley. I think Seth Rogen should go here. That's my personal opinion.
I'll go Seth Rogen.
I'll go Seth Rogen.
All right. I just think that in terms of stoners, he's just, he's iconic.
Did I talk about George Harris yet? You know who George Harris is?
Yeah, he was in the Beatles.
Yeah, George Harrison, right?
His dad was his son was in the Beatles.
George Harris is
Go on, Matt.
the creator of the hemp gin.
Okay.
Do you guys know the story of the hemp gin?
No.
No.
Go ahead.
So the whole reason we have paper and everything today is because the guy who created the cotton gin, he created the cotton gin like I think a couple months before the hemp gin, and cotton was a big deal because it was able to make paper, and the guy who owned the cotton gin also owned newspapers. So he was like, if hemp took over, it would destroy his business. So because of that, he started the whole propaganda against marijuana and hemp and all that jazz, which is why we are in the position we are today. So I have him low on the list because if he wasn't such a stoner, he might have been able to, create the gin a little quicker.
Pretty funny story. Honorable mention for that guy. whoever that guy was, we'll go honorable mention for him. And when you put in an honorable mention, put down Frank's hemp gin guy.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
By the way, I think this is one of the funnest episodes because it's just like you guys were like, who are these people?
So number 7, I had God because he created plants, which
Stop it. Are you serious?
No.
Oh, I was like, if you mad swear God into this week's episode, also. I
actually had our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ because they said that the burning bush was apparent. No, I'm just fucking with you.
That wasn't Jesus though.
Jesus
that was God.
Definitely had stoner vibes, but yeah, you can't prove it.
Yeah, no speculation. All right, so my number 7 was Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah.
Forgot to put them on my list. I can't agree more. I kind of even want to move them up a little bit, but
I would put them up. Yeah.
Above Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
How many movies do Jay and Silent Bob have?
I want to say like 8 or 9.
That many?
Are we?
Yeah, they're in everything. They're in all the fucking whatchamacallit movies.
A View Askew universe and the cartoons.
Yeah.
And the comic books.
Yeah.
You think they're more iconically stoners than Seth Rogen?
Because Seth Rogen isn't in comic books. I mean, like
Seth Rogen does so much other shit too. He makes rom-coms.
Bro, but in the rom-coms, he's a pothead. Every single movie he's been in, he's a pothead.
He's not a pothead. He's a guy that smokes weed. There's a difference.
No way, bro. No way.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
No way.
Typecast. He definitely has been typecast. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, because he's such a stoner that people can't see him as anything else. He has to smoke weed in all of his movies.
He plays a cop in a couple movies.
That smokes.
No.
An observant report, he smokes.
Yeah,
oh, really?
Yeah.
He's not knowledgeable. So when I think of a stoner, I think of someone who's knowledgeable, not just a guy who smokes a lot of weed. Then I just think of a fucking pie.
We hang out with different stoners, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
The stoners I know are dumb as shit, and that's why I think they're stoners.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess you got to think of like.
Frank has done nothing but teach us during this podcast.
Yeah. I don't care about education.
Frank is very, very knowledgeable. So.
I got Google tabs open. I got legislation numbers.
We're talking stoners. Not people who helped weed. Who gives a fuck about them?
Oh, okay. Number 9,
Seth Rogen versus Jay and Silent Bob.
The first dude who sold me some weed when I was in middle school.
Okay. Yeah. Let's figure out Seth Rogen versus Jay and Silent Bob.
I think Jay and Silent Bob over Seth Rogen.
I didn't have Jay and Silent Bob on my list, but I do have. Listen.
But you did have Seth Rogen, right?
Clearly oversight by me.
Right.
I want to love Seth Rogen.
I feel like I'm gonna meet Seth Rogen one of these days, and I'm gonna be like, "Hey, big fan of your work," and he's gonna not shake my hand and be like, "Jay and Silent Bob."
Yeah.
And then just walk away, and I'm like,
"Because Seth Rogen ever sees us, we did something incredibly right."
Ehsan, will you weigh in on the Jay and Silent Bob versus Seth Rogen argument? Chad also said we should put a Frank on the list, which I agree with.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
We'll throw him in the honorable mentions right off the bat.
Harold and Kumar's a good one too.
I have them on my list. All right, maybe Ehsan's gone.
Okay.
Bro, I just think in terms of I don't know. I've also never seen a Jay and Silent Bob movie, so.
Oh, bro, come on,
dude.
But here's the thing. It's because I've never cared about weed culture and so I've never watched those movies. I have watched all of Seth Rogen's movies because they are so mainstream and they brought weed culture to the mainstream in such a big way. Where his movies were comedies first about weed, whereas I feel like Jay and Silent Bob movies are weed movies that are also comedies.
No, they're comedy movies about stoners.
Right.
It's kind of the same thing,
but
it's just like
they're stoner movies. Seth Rogen is like, I'm gonna make comedies and it's just gonna be about us smoking weed, but it's like bigger than Jay and Silent Bob, where they're just like, let's just make movie for stoners rather than for the general public, which includes weed.
Well, so the Jay and Silent Bob movie is for stoners, but all the other movies that they're in are not about for stoners. They are just the stoner characters in that movie.
But that's just like a fun cameo they get to do. The movie's they're barely characters in those. That's like talking about like Stan Lee in the Marvel movies. It's just a fucking fun thing for the audience.
No, it's not at all because they stole those movies so much that they got their own movie.
Yeah.
They were so important in those movies that like we need to expand on these characters.
All right. I mean, we can move them up. That's fine.
How about this? I'll buy you an eighth of the house plant from Seth Rogen, and if you can open up the package on the first try, you can put Seth Rogen wherever you want.
I mean, how long is that going to take? We got about 20 minutes left.
It's going to take about a couple hours because that was the biggest problem with the package when it was released.
See, you got a personal vendetta about some bullshit you bought from him. That's not fair.
I didn't even have to try and open it, but now I got a personal vendetta. If you're going to fucking sell weed and make it too hard for stoners to open, you're losing points, bro.
Maybe he's trying to make stoners better. Maybe he's trying to help you guys.
Oh, okay.
It's like an escape. It's like an escape room.
By confusing us? No.
I don't need to spend $60 on weed and then just feel like an idiot while I'm trying to open it up.
That's for after I get high.
Exactly.
Ehsan says Rogan.
Wait, is he talking or is he texting?
He's in the chat.
Oh, okay.
He says Rogan over Jay and Silent Bob.
All right. Fuck. Let's see. First person in the chat to tell us Rogan or Jay and Silent Bob, that'll be the deciding vote.
All right. Well, I mean, Ehsan already said it, so.
Well, not Ehsan, because Ehsan's vote just counts as part of your vote.
Also, just aesthetically, we should split up the duos. So I think Jay and Silent Bob should go.
You know what? I'm all right with that. Rogan, there it is.
Yeah, but I think Gordon's talking about Joe Rogan.
I think. Fuck. AN versus EN. Yeah. All right, that works.
We'll leave it there, and then if Ehsan can come back and fucking help us out,
no, that's good.
We'll figure it out. So then at number 8, this is where I had Towley.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
I had Towley at 12, but I love Towley.
I think he should make the list.
Towley.
It's fun if he's on the list.
It's the second longest running cartoon ever.
Right behind The Simpsons.
Yeah, he is the stoner of a show about a bunch of people that are like on drugs and doing. I mean, you could also put up Mr. Marsh, but Towley's the stoner.
Yeah, Mr. Marsh now, I guess. But
yeah,
Towley's always been. Yeah.
No, since we were like kids, Towley's been that guy.
He's written as a character just to be a stoner.
Yeah, and he's a fucking towel. It's so funny.
All right, we'll throw him here and then we'll see. So people we've talked about. Then we've mentioned Ricky Williams. We've mentioned Obama.
Woody
Harrelson. I also had I had Ricky Williams at 9.
And why Ricky Williams?
Because he like chose to smoke weed over playing in the NFL. And then he kind of brought in weed culture to like he made it apparent that NFL players were smoking weed.
Yeah. Also, hey, what up, guys? What up again?
Hey.
Williams also it became a part of a broader national narrative that like, oh, weed is actually medicinal.
Yeah.
Like he was like the medicinal weed really started with the conversation of him using it to alleviate pain, to deal with social
NFL
anxiety.
shit.
Like it was a big cultural shift because everyone went from hating Ricky Williams for making that choice to by the end loving Ricky Williams for making that choice. Like it was a big shift in culture that he chose smoking weed over playing in the NFL.
And where was this?
I don't know. Why don't you Wikipedia it?
Oh, okay.
Also, what was the thing I was gonna say? I mean, Ricky, a lot of that gets attributed to weed, but I think Ricky, like in later interviews, his whole thing was holistic medicine. and really just freedom. Like the NFL can't tell me what I can't put in my body and stuff like that. But I mean, yeah, definitely weed had a huge part to play in that.
And he was just trying to like take care of himself and was like,
Yeah.
all right, if you guys aren't gonna let me do this, then I'm not gonna fucking
Self-preservation, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was really important to like making weed acceptable in American culture. More than people give it credit for.
And the NFL became the first pro sports organization to allow CBD. And I think it's a very, very, it's you know, he's the grandfather of that.
Yeah. So that's why I like him here.
Is that at 8?
This would be 9.
That he's at 9? Damn. Yeah, Tally was 8.
He just released a weed brand.
Ricky Williams did? Take your time.
Frank's about to bust it out.
It'd be really funny if Frank was just over there sucking a dick, and that was.
What is that? A Puffco?
Take your time.
That's the new one. All right, let's go.
God, smoking weed seems so pleasant. So my 9 and 10 were actually, it was Ricky Williams and then Michael Phelps, 2 sports guys.
Not Michael Phelps.
Agreed.
I mean, in the same vein as Obama and Woody Harrelson, Michael Phelps.
Oh, not at all.
Why?
You know, I don't respect swimmers.
I mean, come on, bro. That's different than stoners. He's one of the greatest athletes of fucking Earth's history, but...
Terrible point, but I feel you, Frank.
Way better stoner athletes.
Like who?
J.R. Smith.
Is better than Michael Phelps, bro? One of the greatest athletes of all time?
He's a better stoner.
I don't think so.
Just sending random tweets by accident. Just being silly.
You don't have to be stoned to do that.
Michael
He
Phelps
took the picture with the Dutch master of the actual painting.
Michael Phelps got for smoking weed at a party, right?
Yeah.
You know, it might have been one thing. You know, he's not like an active out. You know what I mean? Like, Ricky Williams is like, that was like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't be a closet stoner.
I mean, if it kicks you out of your fucking sport, you can.
Nah, no closet stoner.
Oh, Obama was a closet stoner? Obama was a closet stoner?
Bro, J.R. Smith was getting tested for weed, and he was so like, you knew what the fuck he was about.
Yeah, I just think this is hypocritical.
I'll put Sha'Carri Richardson above Michael Phelps because at least she got caught.
No,
obviously not. But I don't think Michael Phelps belongs on the list.
All right. Can we put Ricky at 9?
Yeah, I'm down for that. I mean, I had Wiz Khalifa at 7.
Yeah, I left him off my list. He's just Snoop Dogg's little brother.
Yeah, but if Snoop Dogg is like, yo, you're my little brother, like you, that's pretty big.
Snoop did it better.
It's big, but it's still not. Yeah, you're just at the end of the day, you are Snoop Dogg's little brother. There's there's plenty of big stoners out there that aren't a discount version of what we have on.
It's also like, who do you think gets the mantle when Snoop Dogg dies?
Wiz.
Maybe if Snoop Dogg ever dies.
Also a good point.
and it's like now Wiz Khalifa, it's not as cool anymore to be a stoner. Like so many people are stoners. So he's not like the champion of stoner culture like Snoop Dogg was.
He is like reigned as like the prince.
Sure, because of Snoop Dogg though.
Yeah,
right.
but
if Snoop Dogg dies, no one's gonna give a fuck about Wiz Khalifa.
He was in it before Snoop Dogg because he would perform at the high time shows all the time. He was always about it, and then Snoop Dogg found, and then also realized how big of a stoner he was, and then gave him like the vouch, and then they joined forces.
Or Snoop even knew who he was. His mixtape was called Cushion Orange Juice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I understand.
But he's been weed since he came on the scene.
Bro, every rapper now smokes weed. Everybody. You could get literally any rapper to perform at high times, and they would do a song about weed. It's not like
but every rapper is about weed. Like that's not their thing.
It's very.
They all smoke weed.
More than when Snoop Dogg was around.
Okay, so Action Bronson smokes a ton of weed, but you would say food first before you said weed, right?
Not anymore. He's skinny now.
And Action Bronson
Next.
also is like heavy, like Alien Labs heavily fucks with him. Like his Instagram name is Baklava, which is a name like is the strain of Alien Labs. You know, like
also an Eastern European treat, but
weed brands will them.
You said treat.
Also dropped in a verse.
Also, I feel like everyone else on the list has a lot more to lose than Wiz Khalifa does. Because like Wiz Khalifa became famous. By the time he was famous, I could buy weed from a store. You had to get a medical card, but it wasn't like hard to get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everyone, like even Seth Rogen taking weed to mainstream blockbuster movies is a risk. It's like no, everyone else had a lot to lose, and I feel like Wiz Khalifa didn't have as much to lose.
Yeah. I think he can be honorable mention. I just don't think he's top 10.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell Wiz that.
Do it. Tell him to come find me. I'll smoke him out.
The name I want to mention is Chappelle.
Lacey?
Yes, Chappelle Lacey.
My brain told me not to do the joke, and you did it.
I know. Mine did too.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really see, like, Chappelle doesn't do weed comedy.
But he was always a big stoner back. I mean, he still kind of is, but not as much as he was back today.
He doesn't talk about it as much anymore. But like his first specials, especially, where half the jokes it was about how somewhere in the setup or even the punchline would be about how high he was.
Yeah.
How are you?
That's how my first albums are gonna be.
Mm-hmm. And then his movie.
Yeah, Half Baked is what I was gonna. Yeah, that's the one I was really leaning on.
Yeah, but that's only half about being high. Ehsan, we can't see you, but I assume you're laughing very hard.
Yes, I
am. Yeah, I didn't write. I mean, I thought about Chappelle, but I didn't write him down at all. I
thought about him too. I didn't put him on the list.
Yeah. I just think there's other people.
He's too mad now to be like on the story.
Yeah, he's not chill anymore.
Yeah.
My number 10 was I had the Nizari Muslims, which.
I mean, how do we feel about Harold and Kumar?
I like Harold and Kumar here. I also kind of like maybe putting Obama here if we want to do that.
I like Obama over Harold and Kumar.
I like Obama over Harold and Kumar.
Harold and Kumar are like silly. I mean, 2 movies, not that great.
3.
Oh, 3. Oh, maybe we should put them on the list. Who else we got?
Well, as far as like weed movies and weed characters go, I'm looking at the list right now. Like, they're not bigger than Jay and Silent Bob. They're not bigger than Shaggy and Scoob. They're not bigger than any of the Seth Rogen movies. Maybe Towley, but Towley's just way too much fun.
Towley's been around longer.
Yeah. Well, Towley's catchphase also is, "Do you want to get high?"
Like, want to get high? Yeah, Towley's amazing.
Yeah, he got to be on this list.
Yeah, Towley's got to be on the list, Doug.
Yeah. I mean,
the only one I have in my top 10 that we haven't mentioned is Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but I feel like that's our parent stoner.
Yeah, I've never seen that movie, so I have no connection to that at all.
For sure.
Same. A couple other ones I wrote down just to get discussion is the dude from The Big Lebowski.
That's a good one.
The Workaholics guys.
Thought about them too.
And Hyde from the rapist from that 70s show. So we don't have to put him on the list.
Joe Rogan?
No.
I have Joe Rogan on my honorable mentions. I mean, he's the only one he smoked weed with Elon Musk and tanked his stock. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
I
That's
think
pretty
he's
tight.
gonna be the one that definitely gets weed passed in Texas.
Is he gonna run for office?
I mean, I don't know.
What's stopping him?
I think he could. I don't know. It's kind of like I don't think he'd win. You know, it's kind of like how we all thought Kanye was gonna win because it was like, oh shit, Kanye is great, and then it was like, oh no, duh, yeah, like people are pretty.
What? No one thought Kanye was gonna win. I don't think anyone reasonably thought Kanye was gonna win.
Yeah, I don't think anyone reasonable thought Kanye was gonna win.
You're talking to 2 Kanye voters right here, so.
Yes, sir.
No, but I think it all depends because it's like it is a popularity contest, right? So like when Trump was running, I was like, oh, he's gonna win. So it's very possible I think Rogan can win. The problem is I think Matthew McConaughey is running, and I think Matthew McConaughey would beat Rogan
for president.
For governor of Texas.
What a silly place.
Yeah.
Hey, California has had 2 Hollywood stars be their governor. So
Yeah,
it's
but
not
we're
that
allowed
crazy.
to. We're
Yeah, but that's the
California.
economy here. Yeah, it's not Texas.
Everything's bigger in Texas except their fucking brains.
Hilarious.
I wish I had an air horn on this show. That'd be sick. Oh, there we go. Thank you. I might call you in future weeks if I need that again. So I mean, where are we at now? We're maybe Joe Rogan, maybe Obama, maybe Harold and Kumar.
Well,
I like Obama more than Rogan.
If your argument is who currently smokes, then Rogan would beat Obama. Obama is famously a stoner too, though, and that is a very big thing to be an openly stoner U.S. president.
And he might be smoking
Obama's
again now.
smoking weed right now?
He
I think Obama's smoking weed.
he started smoking weed the day he got out of office. His fucking daughters are
Yeah.
smoking weed.
Yeah. The Obamas get high.
For sure.
They stay high, dog.
I bet Michelle
I like
rolls the
Obama over
joints.
Rogan.
Yeah, I want to put Obama over Rogan too.
And because it's not that crazy for a stand-up comedian to also be a stoner. You know what I mean? Sitting U.S. president or like someone who was a president, like that's insane.
I mean, I had Obama on my list, and I had Rogan on honorable mentions. So
Well, there we go.
So what do we do? Obama at 10?
Yeah,
Close it out?
Yep.
love that.
I'll write his full name.
Barack Hussein Obama.
Is it 1R? It's 1R. Yeah, okay.
I remember I had
Gordon said, how about
remember I was
Kamala?
Remember I was living in Temecula and I had a friend who was just like, it was like the first day I was like, oh, these kinds of people exist. It was like, of course Obama's a terrorist. His middle name's Hussein.
I mean, it is a good point. All right, let's fill out these honorable mentions then. I put Harold and Kumar and Frank. Who else did we talk about?
Jimi Hendrix.
Nah, was he a big stoner?
Bro, Purple Haze.
Yeah, but I feel like he was into other drugs a lot more than he was.
Yeah, he's not a weed guy. He's like an acid guy.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair.
Who else did we mention that we didn't put on the list? Can I put Michael Phelps on honorable mentions?
You really want to put Michael Phelps on there?
He was a famous stoner for like a week.
Nazari Muslims is so funny.
I can't wait for people to ask, like, who the fuck is that?
I have someone that I wanted to talk about that we didn't.
All right.
Jack Herrera.
Damn it! That was the 10th person that I had
That's
on my
what
list.
you were talking about before, Frank, was
And
Jack
I was
Herrera. When
gonna
you were like, I got the
mention
guy.
it, but I didn't want to because y'all fucking made fun of me for being so nerdy. Yes, Jack Herrera.
But
is-
Jack Herrera, he gets to be on there because his strain became famous. You know what I mean? And
Who
he
is
named it
that?
after himself.
Who is that?
He named it after him because of how influential he was. And
you
how-
you never smoked Jack Herrera or Herrera? That's what it's called.
Oh, no.
They
good.
took away the A.
Nope.
I've definitely smoked it.
I smoked OG Kush.
I would also, if we're adding the Nizari Muslims, I'd also like to add the Japanese. I think that'd be a funny add to the honorable mention.
You're gonna be like, what? Like, you gotta listen to the episode.
Get a pen and paper and take some notes. Cool. I think that might be it. So our top 10 then is number 1, Snoop Dogg. Number 2, Cheech and Chong. 3, Willie Nelson. 4, Bob Marley. 5, Shaggy and Scooby Doo. 6, Seth Rogen. 7, Jay and Silent Bob. 8, Towley. 9, Ricky Williams. 10, Barack Obama.
Love it.
That's a good list.
This is a good list.
Cool. That was fun. Thanks for doing it, Frank.
That was fun. Dude, there's a lot of really good fucking laughs.
Yeah, it's always a fun show. We have your
Nizari Muslim shit's gonna be fucking. I want a shirt that just says Nizari Muslim.
Can we move them up to the number 1 honorable mention?
Yes, of course. They were like the first honorable mention brought up, so
You go Nazari Muslims, Frank Castillo, the Japanese. Like, what the fuck did you guys talk about?
that's so funny. Frank, your Instagram handle is on the Twitch stream. Do you want to plug anything else?
Check out my podcast, Peaked. Podcast PEAKD. We're on Spotify, YouTube, Apple stuff. I have my album coming out December 3rd. It's called Lupe.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Frank, real quick, can you tell us what you do on your podcast, Peaked?
Oh, we smoke weed. So all right, so it's a fun little podcast. We do like 3 rounds. So we ask ridiculous questions. I mostly show my friends high-end rosin and concentrates, and we smoke them out of the Puffco, and it's a lot of fun. Ridiculous edibles and just silly time. It's just a lot of fun.
Yep, and that's why you are on the top 10 stoners of all time honorable mentions list. Cool. That's it. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.